Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Don Lemon Show. We starting with breaking news. You see a lot of folks up there on your screen. Reecie Colbert is joining us. She's going to help us get through this. She's going to talk about, she has an economics degree. We're going to talk about what's happening with the economy and the jobs numbers that came today, or the economic numbers that came in today. But we're going to start with some breaking news, and that is on this Texas redistricting efforts and the special session and the breaking of quorum. And I'm joined now by Representative Jolanda Jones from the Texas legislature, also Charlene Ward Johnson, also on the Texas legislature. Politico is reporting this. Politico is saying that the Texas Democrats have signaled that they are poised to end their redistricting walkout. Representatives, welcome to the show. Is this true? What's going on?
Thank you. Some people are going back. We're not.
They are going back after all of this. What's the point then? What was the point of all of this?
I can't speak for them, but I can tell you that for myself, and Rep. Ward Johnson will tell you for herself, I came here for the long haul. I came here to stop the maps, and if however long I needed to be gone, then I was going to be gone. I didn't come here to like win a messaging war. I came here to fight for the constituents of House District 147, because if these maps, these racist redistricted maps go through, Black people will lose 2 seats in Texas, and we can't. And Rep. Johnson can tell you why she came.
Hello, I'm Charlene Ward Johnson, House District 139, which is in Houston, Texas, and I sit in one of the congressional districts that is part of the racial gerrymandering. I haven't decided when I was coming back. I'm still negotiating. I'm still trying to look at the best way to serve my constituents. What is the best strategy that I can do that's going to benefit them the most? So it's still up in the air on the final date. That hasn't been confirmed yet.
Well, let me say this for me. In my district, I literally represent people in 3 of the targeted districts: CD9, CD18, CD29. So I have constituents in all of those. My constituents have told me to stay here. My constituents do not want to be moved. They want the representation of their choice. And so I know for a fact, I'm not going anywhere. My colleagues, maybe you could ask them what their methodology is, but I am the team, like as opposed to Team HDC, Team House Democratic Caucus. I'm Team Constituents of House District 147, and my constituents want me there. And let me be clear, even with the legal strategy, if the maps go through, they're going to be in effect for at least the next 4 or 5 years. If the next 4 or 5 years those maps are in effect, we literally have 2 less Congress people. And the Supreme Court is owned by President Trump. They're owned by him. I don't think the likelihood that they will undo what he's ordered them to do is on the table. So I'm not wishing for a miracle. I'm trying to use the only tactic that we have as a minority party, with 88 of them and 62 of us, is to deny them quorum. For me, I'm not going to give away that power. So whenever they go back, right, you will not see my name on that board to have given them a quorum, because I don't go, I'm not about to go to lose. I don't fight to lose, I fight to win. And winning is stopping the maps, in my respectful opinion.
Right. This fight has to continue, and it will continue. We're not ready to give up the fight yet, but we are just working to make sure that y'all help us continue to get this word out and continue to fight with us, because it's just not a Texas issue. It's going to impact all of America, everybody. So we need to make sure that we're in this together.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think the world, or really the country and the world, they were looking to you, the folks in Texas, to hold out so that where other folks can take a cue from you guys to realize that, hey, we have the strength, we have the stamina, we will be able to do this, because this is about democracy. It's not just about what happens in Texas.
Right.
They want 42 seats
Totally.
around the country. And Gavin Newsom, which we'll get to later, is fighting in California. He's going to redraw, some districts there. New York, in order for New York to do it, they have to get approval. It has to be voted on, or they're going to have to amend or change their constitution. And that's not 100%. But I don't even know. I don't think that is enough. I believe that's not enough to make up for 42 seats that Republicans are going to gain. Do the folks in your coalition, your caucus, or do they not realize that?
So I can't speak for them, but I can tell you that they just did a poll that came out in California today, this morning, that literally said that 2/3 of their of Californians want to keep the commission. So there, I don't think that there's a guarantee that they'll be able to redistrict if 2/3 of the people are like, no, we want to keep it like it is. And so, again, I decided to come out here for the long haul. Who knows if I still have my law practice when I get back home? But you only have one time to fight for civil rights. There was only one Edmund Pettus Bridge. Some people got arrested. Some people got beat. I mean, there was only one Montgomery bus boycott. Some people lost their jobs. So I didn't come here. I know what my constituents want. I know. So I don't need anyone telling me. And as I said before, even if, let's say California is able to get 5 seats, that still is not going to bring back the 2 seats they stole from Texas. That still is not going to give my constituents the right that we worked for to elect a representative of our choice. We shouldn't have to pick between 2 really good Black Congress people. We should be able to have them both like we always have. So California, I hope that they're able to redistrict, but that still doesn't solve the Texas problem.
So let me ask you then. So, we have up on the screen that some Texas Democrats, you guys are not giving up, but if the folks who are with you go back, then that's going to make quorum, right? And then, so this,
if they go back, they will make quorum. We're only 3 short.
Right,
So the Republicans needed 3 of us. And so again, I have to be able to wake up and look at myself in the mirror and know that I made a decision that my mom and my grandmom raised me to do, and to be the grandmother that I want my granddaughter to look up to. And my mother taught me, if there's 100 people in the room and they're doing something and you don't agree with it, you got to do what's right. You got to have the courage to be the one person to stand up to the 100. And I feel like that's what's going on right here. They have reasons for what they're doing, and right. I don't begrudge them for what they're doing, but I cannot, the person that I am, I cannot do it. My constituents won't allow me. And I represent my constituents.
So what are they telling you? Why are they saying, what are they telling you?
You're going to have to ask them.
Right, you're going to have to ask them. Everybody, to them, the fight looks different. They wouldn't say that they were giving up the fight. They want to say that they're, passing the baton on, and we're leaning on California. And they're saying that their win was that we brought this to national attention. They brought the attention that they needed, that they wouldn't try to just cheat their way into getting these seats, and we wouldn't say anything, and that they've been in a fight with the Democrats. But we know the fight doesn't end. Even if they go back, the fight doesn't end. We have to continue this fight. We cannot be silent on how he is trying to take away our rights to vote, taking away the minorities' right to choose a representation that reflects what their issues are. So we're not giving up. We're going to continue to fight.
Well, if they make a quorum, I'm gonna go back and try to fight. But they got 88, right. We got 62.
Right.
And let me be clear. Even though the national conscience has been awakened, we gonna still have 2 seats in Texas stole. Okay.
Right.
Like a straight thief. Okay. So I can't do that.
Right.
Wow.
But thank you.
How are you guys feeling about that?
We're still fired up. You can tell she's still fired up. She's still ready to fight. Being an athlete, she's gonna take it's a marathon. It's a marathon to her. So so it's a continuous thing. We may be tired and this is a big sacrifice that we're taking, but we know it is worth it. We know this is worth the fight.
One thing you will not see my name on that board to give them quorum. Jolanda Jones will not be there.
When they go back, they don't have to go to the legislature, right? They don't actually have to go into the building. But
they do. They got to go on the floor and let them tell if they're going to arrest us and they're going to drag us to the floor.
They have to go on the floor? I mean, what if they have their house and not go to work?
Okay, right. Well, but DBS going to drag us on. They have that power. But Don, I got to go. I'm supposed to be on the show.
I got you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Representatives Jolanda Jones and Charlene Ward Johnson. Thank you very much. We appreciate both of you joining us. All right, we'll get back to you. Thank you. Okay, so Reecie, there you go. Disappointing.
Yeah, but listen, I think that this is revealing the lack of institutional power that Democrats have. Part of it is because we're caught with our pants down. Republicans have Project 2025, a 980 something page document with a blueprint to how they planned on taking power, seizing it, and maintaining it. And that before Project 2025 was Project 20 something something else. And we're still seeing Democrats winging it. And as much as I salute the bravery and the courage of those representatives, it should not be incumbent on any particular individual sacrificing their livelihood, hiding out across the country in order to maintain what some semblance of democracy. The Democrats as a party, and I'm not putting that on any particular organization,
Right.
but as a party, has to figure out a way back. There needs to be a short-term and a long-term strategy, like what we're seeing Governor Gavin Newsom do, like what we're seeing Governor J.B. Pritzker doing, like what Governor Westmore, he's about that life over there in Maryland. And so until we figure out that we cannot fight fire with I don't know. You get my point. We can't bring a knife to a gunfight. Then we're going to still be trying to play catch up. We're still going to be trying to say, well, there's so much that we could do. And I hate that for us because the Republicans have this figured out. They got plan A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And we're still trying to convince Democratic voters to not be whiny little bitches over every little thing and be ready to throw out the Democrats, throw out the bombs every time they don't get whatever little litmus test that they have, while Republicans are hunkered down and they're racking up win after win.
Yeah, they are racking up win after win. And speaking of Gavin Newsom, you said what he's doing in California today. He held a press conference. He and other California lawmakers, including Adam Schiff and also Representative Alex Padilla, who was, arrested or detained by ICE agents a couple weeks back or a couple months back. Here is Governor Gavin Newsom at that press conference today talking about Donald Trump.
So we're here with our state of mind, with the clarity of our purpose and conviction to recognize that we need to reconcile the world we're living in. We do have agency. We're not bystanders in this world. We can shape the future, and that's what we intend to do today. We're here because Donald Trump, on January 6th, tried to light democracy on fire, tried to wreck this country, tried to steal an election, as Alex just said, by trying to dial in for 11, almost 12,000 votes. And here we are, in open and plain sight, before one vote is cast in the 2026 midterm election. And here he is once again trying to rig the system. He doesn't play by a different set of rules. He doesn't believe in the rules. And as a consequence, we need to disabuse ourselves of the way things have been done. It's not good enough to just hold hands, have a candlelight vigil, and talk about the way the world should be. We have got to recognize the cards that have been dealt. And we have got to meet fire with fire. And we've got to be held to a higher level of accountability. So that's what this is about. It's not complicated. We're doing this in reaction to a president of the United States that called a sitting governor of the state of Texas and said, find me 5 seats. We're doing it in reaction to that act.
Well, Reecie, when I watched that today, I said he's absolutely 100% right. The question is, I see Representative Jones is back with us. I don't see her camera up, though. The question is, though, what does that mean now that Texas appears all to be, to have given up on all of it?
Well, first of all, this has to go to a vote in California. And so that's what he's proposing. They're drawing up the maps, and then it's going to go to the votes, to the voters in a special election in November for them to decide if they want to basically choose these maps over that of the independent commission. And I think that what Democrats, and especially Governor Gavin Newsom, is being very smart about in California is making this a national issue for California voters and for driving the point home. Because what we've seen in the past is we've seen Democrats do focus groups, do polls, and say, well, people don't like that, so I guess we should just forget about it. That's why they didn't press the fact that Donald Trump botched the COVID-19 response fucked up the economy the last time he was in office. They just said, oh, let's forget about it. That's not resonating with people. You have to get it to resonate with people. That's what Republicans get. Who cared about CRT as a national issue before Republicans made that seem like that was going to make all the little white kids going to elementary school feel bad about themselves? Republicans know how to drive a point home. They know how to make something that nobody was thinking about, nobody was concerned about, the most pressing issue for everybody in the country to address. And so I think that what Governor Newsom is doing there with the big crowd and really taking it right to Donald Trump and laying out the stakes, if they keep that up, then I think that the polls that suggest that people want to stick with the independent commission, I think that will change. Democrats have to realize that being on your high horse does you no good when it's a pig fight, okay? And the reality is that independent commissioning in Democratic only states is not going to make the world more fair when Republicans are saying, give me 5 seats, give me 10 seats, give me however many seats, to where they are completely insulated from the will of the voters.
I said Representative Jones is back. She is. Representative, just so if you're trying to get on, we don't see your camera. So if you can turn your camera on, we'd appreciate it. We'll bring you back on the screen. So my question is, Gavin Newsom is also saying now that Trump is a failed president. Here he is.
We know what Donald Trump knows. He's going to lose the midterms. He knows de facto his presidency ends in 17 months when Speaker Jeffries is back in office. He knows it. Why else? Why else would you try to rig the system? Why else would you make the phone call? He's a failed president. Who else sends ICE same time having a conversation like this? Someone who's weak. Someone who's broken. Someone whose weakness is masquerading as strength. The most unpopular president in modern history. An economy that's collapsing all around him. You saw the new wholesale prices going up almost a full percentage point today. Inflation is going up. Job creation is going down. He's trying to rewrite history, Smithsonian, censoring historical facts. And in the spirit of what Adam Schiff said, he's trying to put America in reverse on voting rights, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, on women's rights. He wants to bring us back to a pre-1960s world. That's what this is all about. It's about power. And I want to end on this. And we are about to give power.
Well, Reecie, he's right. But again, because of what's happening, in Texas, I don't know. Is it going to work?
Well, I remember a presidential candidate that ran on "We're not going back." Remember that? And I guess people said, well, I kind of like the 1940s and the 60s, when Jim Crow was a thing and all that other kind of stuff. Listen, I think that it's hard. It is very, very hard to crawl our way back. And we know that Democratic voters are very impatient. They're very impatient with results from our Democratic leaders, despite the fact that 10 million Joe Biden voters stayed home this last election cycle, allowing Republicans to get a trifecta control of the government when you already have a massive advantage in the Supreme Court from Trump judges. And so part of this is a self-inflicted wound by Democratic or formerly Democratic leading voters. But to Governor Newsom's point, this is absolutely a confession of how weak Republicans know their standing is going into 2026. If we reverse back to 2024, these folks won the popular vote in the presidential election, something that a Republican hasn't done in 20 years or so. They won the popular vote in terms of the congressional, the House of Representatives. Another thing that they typically lose on, but they gained because of gerrymandering. They won back the Senate. They held on to the House. They had a formula that worked. And all they had to do was keep doing that. But what they decided to do instead was pass one of the most unpopular pieces of legislation that is devastating to this country. And let's not even talk about Donald Trump's budget that he's trying to pass and how they're trying to gut so many things from that. And they know that their political fortunes will absolutely reverse if they are held to account for what they've passed. And so that's why they're gerrymandering this way. And you know what? Who gonna check them, boo?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's going to have to be the voters. I'm sorry, no matter how much Democrats hide out in this state or that state, it's going to have to be the voters. California will be the first test of whether voters are willing to hold Donald Trump and Republicans accountable when they have to vote on these maps. If they send the message, well, we're going to just bury our heads in the sand and we're going to stick with the virtues of an independent commission, then you really can expect an unhinged, unleashed Republican Party after that.
Representative Jones is back with us. Representative Kathy Hochul is the governor of New York. Again, I don't know how much of this effort I don't know how much of this is really going to help. But Representative Jones, can you hear me? Yeah, you're muted now. But I'm going to play. This is Governor Kathy Hochul, Reecie. I'm going to play Governor Kathy Hochul, and she's saying even if she has to change the Constitution, the New York State Constitution, that she's tired of fighting without the right ammunition. Here she is.
If this is how they're going to play the game, we're going to fight fire with fire. I didn't want to take on this fight. I've always followed the rules. Democrats always follow the rules. But when they're willing to do this to subvert our democracy, shame on us if we don't stand up. They know they're going to be wiped out in the elections next year. Democrats will have a generational shift in our favor. But if they're going to break the rules, then I'm not going to follow the meter anymore. I'm sorry to say that. That actually hurts to say that. But I'm not going to go into a fight with my hands tied behind my back. That never works.
At the time, the Commerce Department had a bunch of global.
What are the chances that that they can change the Constitution, or New York is going to vote to say yes? Rep, I don't know if you're still muted, or Reecie. You're muted. You're muted still, Rep. Go ahead, Reecie.
Well, I'll just say it depends on how hard Democrats fight to get these people to realize what's at stake here. We saw, unfortunately, New York and New Jersey shift quite a ways to the right towards Donald Trump. We saw that, during the last midterms, Republicans picked up seats in New York because of how close some of these races are. And so can Democrats convince people that they have to change tactics and that they have to stand up against Donald Trump and these Republicans? That's going to be the question. And if Democrats can't do it, can these people figure the shit out on their own that this is what is absolutely necessary? I don't know how much faith I have in the American people, because all of this could have been avoided. All of this was explained to people over and over again in November, and they still chose this way. But now that they've touched the hot stove, maybe enough people, you just got to pick off a couple of people, we'll figure it out. But I don't know, Don. What do you think?
No, I don't. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's like saying, oh, we can work with Republicans, or that's going to be bipartisanship. That is not going to happen. We're going to continue to discuss this, but first, a word from our sponsors.
Support comes from Shopify. You know the origins of this show, the Don Lemon Show. Once just a dream. I had the idea, the vision, but I also had a lot of those what if moments. You know what I'm talking about? What if I don't have the skills? What if I can't do it alone? I learned pretty quickly that you can't let those questions stop you, okay? You've got to turn those what ifs into why nots. That's why I love Shopify, the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, powering 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names to brands just getting started. We use Shopify right here on this show to bring you the merch that you love, okay? So, like the shirt. So even if you've never designed a website before, Shopify has beautiful, ready-to-go templates that match your brand style. Their AI tools can help you enhance product images, write descriptions, and even generate discount codes. And if you're worried people haven't heard about your brand yet, well, Shopify makes it simple to find your customers with email and social campaigns that you can run yourself. Plus, their award-winning 24/7 customer support is always there when you need it. So turn those dreams into reality and into that with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/lemon. That's shopify.com/lemon. Support comes from ZBiotics. I have to tell you about this game-changing product that I use before a night out. It's called Pre-Alcohol. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic invented by PhD scientists to help you handle those rough mornings after drinking. So here's how it works. When you drink, your body converts alcohol into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It is that buildup, not just dehydration, that is to blame for feeling awful the next day. So ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol produces an enzyme that breaks that byproduct down. The first time I tried it, it was before summer rooftop party, right, with friends. I took it before my first drink, enjoyed the night, and the next morning, well, I was on top of my game. No wasted day, no sluggish recovery. So as summer winds down, beach days, road trips, cookouts, don't forget to pack ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol. Take one before you start drinking and drink responsibly, and you can enjoy tomorrow as much as today. So go to zbiotics.com/lemon to get 15% off your first order with code LEMON at checkout. It's backed by a 100% money-back guarantee, so there are no risks here. That's zbiotics.com/lemon, code LEMON for 15% off.
Thank you to our sponsors. Now, hold on, Reecie, Representative. Your mic is still not working. I don't know what you're doing. It's on muted. Okay, it's on mute, not working. So we'll see. But I want to bring in now. Let's bring our legends in. The Lemon legends are here. We'll take the Congresswoman off. I mean, the representative off until we can get her fixed up. Okay, the Lemon legends are here. Welcome, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Hi, Don.
Excellent.
We're
here.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So how do you guys feel? Texas putting up their fight.
So disappointed.
Oh God.
It's disappointing.
Disappointed.
Honestly, Oakland got something to say. I'm in Oakland, California right now, and I heard somebody had our name in their mouth. So I'm trying to figure out what they trying to do out here.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. I have no idea.
But what do you guys think of Texas?
Disappointed.
Very disappointed.
Go ahead.
It's disappointing.
It's
It's
sad.
Are you surprised? But are you surprised?
I was
Yeah.
gonna say I'm disappointed, but
really.
I'm not surprised at this
They
point.
want to talk so much. They want to talk so much stuff about how they're, I don't know, so freedom oriented, blah, blah, blah. That's not freedom oriented if you're, trying to steal everybody else's vote. Part of being free is respecting others because you have your freedom, they have their freedom, and I don't know. That's just my opinion.
How do you think they're
From Houston?
going to feel when they go back, James?
Well, I'm sorry. What was the question?
The constituents, how do you think they're going to feel? And is there anybody in here from Texas, by the way? Anybody?
I think they're going to feel let down to the nth degree. I mean, this isn't a time for these guys to bend the knee. This isn't a time for, I love Michelle Obama, but they go low, we go high. No. She needs to step out too and say, we need to go to as low as we can to the gates of hell, open those gates and kick these people all in there. I mean, this is our democracy. This is our way of life. This is so big and so enormous, and we're still sleepwalking around it. Democrats are, and it's scary and it's pathetic.
Mm-hmm. Katie Carrick, you there? When I came on with the breaking news, your reaction?
With the Texas stuff, you mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not surprised, but I am definitely disappointed because I just feel like, especially with the Democrats, it's like we hear, oh, we have your back, and then this happens, and they cave.
Mm-hmm.
And that it just gets so frustrating, and it feels like we don't really have a voice.
Jen Griffin.
Good evening. Thank you, Don. I'm deeply disappointed. Mainly because I would like to know the reasoning for their reversal. Because once you've committed to something like this, you should follow through. But if their hesitancy and their willingness to go back has to do with monetary issues, then I don't understand why a billionaire like Pritzker wouldn't step up and just foot everybody. I mean, you have so much money you're not going to spend it all in your lifetime. Just do good with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why they went back. We haven't heard any reasoning, but I can only assume it's familial or monetary. But we're not.
Representative, can you answer that question?
So, so I think you should speak with them. I believe that my colleagues believe that we've done all we can do. I don't believe that. They do. And they believe that they've passed the baton on to California and other states and the American people.
Yeah. No, you're muted again, Representative. Yeah,
Well, can I say something, Don, to the point about the money? We saw where Beto O'Rourke, he tried to set up a PAC to help finance some of this, and Republicans have immediately taken him to court. And so I think part of it is that we don't have that underground, behind the scenes, on the low level of doing stuff that Republicans do, where they start funding people years in advance of these kinds of things. They start funding think tanks and they start funding channels and all kinds of stuff. There is a lack of financial infrastructure to allow Democrats to support. And I think what a lot of people don't realize about this, Don, is that, and to the legends, is that this fight could have gone on indefinitely. We're not talking about a 100-day session and then the clock rings and it's like, oh, okay, they're run out of time. This is something that could have gone on for months or even longer. And so I think that's a huge ask to make of individuals who have families and who have professions. And mind you, being a legislator in Texas is a part-time gig. It's a couple $1,000s a year. So this isn't like the House in the U.S. congressional district, where they get paid $177-something thousand a year and then they go home most of the year. It's a completely different strain that it puts on these people who are being harassed and threatened with legal consequence, with arrest, whose families are being harassed. And so I think this is part of where Democrats have kind of put it forth that they can save the day. And I appreciate the efforts of trying to break the will of Republicans, but Republicans have every single lever at their advantage to force this issue.
Racism.
Representative, you there?
I'm here. I don't know what's wrong. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good. Anybody, you guys have any questions for Representative Jones? Who has a question? Go ahead.
I'm wondering what is I guess I don't understand. I think you guys were perhaps intimidated by Governor Abbott, and he says, well, if they just stay out, I'll just call another third special session, and then when that's done, and I'll just do another one until we break their backs, I guess.
So let me be clear.
Is that, you agree with that?
No, I absolutely don't agree with that. He called 4 special sessions the last legislative session. So we're accustomed to him calling additional special sessions. For me, I'm a self-employed lawyer. I have a lease that I'm in. I've got people who are on my payroll. I hope when I go back that I still have a law practice. I do. I have a car note that I have to pay every month. But for me, this is really, really, really important. And I never said I was just coming for the special session. My goal was never to just stop special session 1. My goal was to stop the maps, period. And while my colleagues can do what they feel is best for them, you will not see me on the floor of the House on Monday. It's just not going to happen. There is no fighting. There is no fighting. There's 88 of them and 62 of us, and they do exactly what Trump says. So we're going to speak from the front mic. We're going to speak from the back mic, and we're going to say all these things that are true, like that they're racist and they're gerrymandered. And then when this is said and done, they're going to listen to us about as much as they listen to the constituents of Texas when they testified at those sham hearings. And then they're going to vote to pass the racist maps. And even if California is able to do what they need to do, and even if every Democratic state is able to take back some Democratic seats, that literally does not change the fact that I represent Texans who live in House District 147, who live in CD9, CD18, and CD29. And it does not change the fact that CD9 and CD18 are collapsed into one in some crazy map where people had never been together. And in CD29, they may lose that seat as well. So these other states can't save my constituents. The only person who can save my constituents is me by holding out. And so, again, I think, this is America. We're all entitled to our own opinions, but I can't do it. I will not be leaving. And the only time I'll go back is if so either they don't make a quorum because we continue to quorum break, or they go back, they get a quorum, then I'm going to go back and try to lay a legal foundation. But otherwise, I'm here. I will not be a part of the people that are, in my respectful opinion, allowing the Republicans to crush us.
Mm-hmm. Who has a question? If someone had their hand up, I think it was Jen, or who was it had their hand up?
Yeah, I was going to ask. So but I gathered the answer really to my question from what you just said, Representative, that the majority of them decided to go because they feel that the point has been made and that they have passed the baton to California, Illinois, New York to take care of this issue. But again, like you said, that still leaves your constituents without a voice.
Yep, they're shit out of luck.
Mm-hmm.
And opportunity, and representation, and resources. I mean, they're out of everything.
May Money, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I had like multiple hands up. First of all, thank you so much, Reecie. And I'm sorry, your name escaped me. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with the legends today, because I think it's so important that we all kind of equalize ourselves as people, because this fight that we're going through is not like we have to come down to the levels of people like myself. And so I'm so happy that you're here to talk about this. And I wanted to talk about Gavin Newsom. I'm in Oakland, California, born and raised straight up out of Oakland, right? I'm here right now. Look how beautiful it is today, everybody. And I work in Oakland Public Schools. And I guess I just want to say, first of all, I want Jerryeesha, I want Jerryana Mander, I want Jerry Jr. I want them to mander the fuck out of California right now, because we are not fighting this fight with the same level of energy. And I've been so frustrated even coming on to shows like this, because of how it just feels circular at this point. What are we gonna? So we gonna do something about it? Hey, and this motherfucker really had the audacity to and be like, "Oh, Oakland's too far gone." You know why he said that? Because he's afraid to come out here. He's afraid to come out to Oakland, and y'all need to take a page out of Oakland's book. No, bro, because they got bipped the other day, but they don't put that in the news. But what I'm saying is that this is a fight that we are not matching, and we are gonna fuck around and get fucked up by these people. And it's scary, and I don't like the hope that we're supposed to have. I don't have it. There are no warriors anymore. There are no people willing to fight for us. There are no people willing to stand up and stand out and stand in front of this.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, probably it's a little low.
Well, we do have a warrior right here with Representative Jones. Yes.
There are some of us who are fighting.
Yeah.
Even when other people have decided to do a different fight. Like for me, winning the messaging was never my point. Winning the war was always my point. Stopping the maps was always my point. I never said I was coming just until the end of the first special session. That's some bullshiggity. That was never my point. So there are some of us.
And please don't mistake me. I think that you are one of the first people that I've seen in a long time that seem to have their wits about them about what's really the reality of our situation, because circular conversation ain't it, because people are getting kidnapped on the streets as we speak. You know what I mean? And I know that that first time I saw you on Don's show the other day, I knew that you was a real one. I knew you were a real fighter, and we need more reality fighters. I can't stand all this like sitting in the Congress and asking for people to be nice to you. Like that shit is not working. Like the decorum is done. It's dead. There are no laws. There is no, I mean, look at these people are not even following the straight up laws. Like, so how do you fight that? And we need to start thinking about how do we fight against lawlessness? How do we fight against fascism? Because we are dealing with a whole different playbook, and we don't seem to be able to keep it up.
Yeah,
Well,
we need to
well,
let
so-
some
so
other
the
folks
only-
speak. Stand by, Representative. James has a question for you, but I'm trying to get everybody.
Yeah, Representative, thank you so much for being here. My question is, what can we do for you and your constituents? They have a voice. They still have a voice. Is it boycotting things? Is it stopping, paying their municipalities? What is it that we can do from other states to help your constituents realize that they need to use their own voices, and it can't just be left up to one woman? And again, to May's point, we are fighting lawlessness, and we're not playing on the same playing field. And if they can continue to do these sleazy things, unfortunately, we have to do them too. But we have to have the backbone to do that. So my only question is, what can we do in other states, just as civilians and as constituents in other states, to help your constituents or to help you while you're out of town?
Well, actually, I'm running for Congress. I mean, I was running for Congress before this happened, and I've actually been sort of prevented from running because I'm not back home talking to my constituents. I'm holed up somewhere, not telling you where I am because the FBI is literally hunting us. But so if you want to see somebody like me in Congress, because literally Congressional District 18 has no representation. Our congressperson died on March 5th. And so I'm fighting for that. I mean, that's one way you can help. You can help me elevate out. So I've always been this fighter, this person that you see right now. But I've done it in Houston and I've done it in Texas. And so you guys just never knew me, right? So there are those of us who exist, who are fighting. And because Greg Abbott is evil, right? And he's racist.
He
and
is.
He's
evil and he's
a
racist.
sheep.
So,
He's the sheep and Trump is the shepherd. So there are those of us who will fight him. But right now I just need to be the representative for Congressional District 18. And again, I'm staying here. I'm still the state representative for House District 147 in Houston, Texas. And I'm hopeful that everybody doesn't give up. I hope you see that there are some of us fighting. And sometimes there's not a lot of us fighting. But
right. And to your point, to Don's point, this is so much bigger than just your district. And if we can all come together as one and fight your district and win that small fight, no matter where we sit in this country, because it is going to affect all of us, then how can we mobilize, whether that's on the phones, whether that's, donations, whether that's whatever that may be, to get someone like you into the Congress and to keep the people who are planning on going back, to keep them away, to let them realize it's okay because they got the whole country behind them. So it's not just.
Hey, Representative,
I think that.
I don't know how to
Representative, everyone, hold that thought. I need to get a word in from our sponsors, and then we'll hear the answer.
Okay.
Support comes from Wild Alaskan Company. Now, when was the last time that you truly trusted seafood you brought home? I used to second guess everything, the freshness, the sustainability, the taste, until I discovered Wild Alaskan Company. Wild Alaskan is 100% wild caught, never farmed. That means no antibiotics, GMOs, or additives, just clean, real fish that support healthy oceans and fishing communities. Their fish is frozen right off the boat to lock in taste, texture, and nutrients like omega-3s. So my personal favorite, the wild sockeye salmon, deep color, rich flavor, and it cooks perfectly every single time. So every order supports sustainable harvesting practices, and your membership brings flexible shipments, expert tips, and a real sense of knowing where your food comes from. And it's risk-free. So if you're not satisfied with your first box, you get a full refund. No questions asked. So get seafood you can trust. Go to wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off your first box. That's wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off premium caught seafood, wild caught. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. You know, these days, feels like there's advice for everything, you know, cold plunges, gratitude journals, screen detoxes. But how do you really know what works for you? With so much mental health content online, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. So for me, therapy has always been about cutting through that noise with someone who actually listens and guides you towards what works for you. That's where BetterHelp comes in. More than 30,000 licensed therapists and more than 5 million people served globally. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform. It works with 4.9 out of 5 in the App Store from 1.7 million reviews. It's convenient, and you can connect with the therapist from anywhere and switch to at any time that you need, okay? No questions asked. You can do whatever you want there, right? BetterHelp gives you access to mental health professionals with a range of expertise so you can find the right fit for you, what fits your needs. So talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/DonLemon. That's betterhelp.com/DonLemon. Thanks to our sponsors.
Thank you so much to our sponsors. I hate to cut you both off. Representative, you were responding to James's question.
Yeah, James said, what can you guys do to get us to stay? And so let me be clear. I believe that horse has left the barn. I'm listening to what's going on, and that horse has left the barn. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do when they leave, because I'm not going back to Texas, because they will not have, my name will not, when history goes down and we look at the people that gave them the quorum to oppress my people, my name's not gonna be on that list. It's just not gonna be on that list. And I've just got to figure it out. But the easiest thing for everybody to do to change all of this is to freaking vote. Right? And vote like your lives depend on it, because they do. And not only do your lives depend on it, but hell, my granddaughter's life depends on it. And we've got to take over Congress. We have to take over these state houses. The reason why Trump is doing us any old kind of way in Texas is because the Republicans lead 88 votes to 62 votes. In no world of math does 62 beat 88. But you know what? I grew up like really rough. I can laugh now because I've had a lot of counseling, but I was with my father when he blew his brains out. You know, we got evicted. Our house burned down because we didn't have electricity. We were using candles. My brother was murdered, shot 5 times in the head. I could go on and on and on. But what I will say is when you grow up like that, right? When you're on free and reduced lunch, any day you have food to eat, any day you're above ground, any day somebody's not getting murdered is a day that I have breath in me to fight. And so the oppression that they're trying to put on us doesn't at all compare to what I've already lived through. And I know if I can live through that, I'm going to live through this. And as long as you guys stay positive and help us, and contribute to my congressional campaign, because we need me in Washington to help Jasmine, right? And just do that, and it's going to keep me fortified. I'll figure it out. Right?
Let me get Kevin Jenkins in. Kevin has a question, and I think also, Kevin. I think Kevin, I think Ashley Linton has a question. Go on.
Hey, Kevin.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm from Houston, Miss Jones, and I love you down. I could watch you all day long, and I appreciate everything that you're doing right now. But I guess my question is, for something like this, you guys would all have to be on one accord. Like, it can't be one person here, one person there. So what changed, and what was the end game for doing all this? Was it just to get the national attention, or was the intention always to just take it day by day? Because
and were you guys really on the same page with that intention? Because not to cut you off, but because some people said national attention, that you said earlier, and for others like you, it was to hold out until December.
For me, it was always to kill the maps. And because I grew up like I might come home and we don't have a place to say we've been evicted, and our stuff is on the front lawn and we got to figure it out. With this, I was going to deal with it like that, right? When we got the bomb threat and we had to pack up and leave, I packed my shit up and I left, and so I was always, I don't know that we knew exactly what the plan was. I thought that our plan was to kill the maps. That's what I thought. I didn't learn until recently that wasn't everybody's plan, right? So sometimes you think you're in agreement with people and you're not, right? My plan was never to win the messaging war. I think we've won it. I think America's on our side. I'm curious to see what America's going to do if some of us go back and give them a quorum. will America still be rooting for us? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Ashley,
Yeah.
go on. Sorry.
Yes. Hi, Don.
Go ahead.
Hi, Don. And hi, Representative Jones. And I just want to thank you for standing on business. And I guess a lot of the questions that I did have were already answered. I am heartbroken by, the plan falling apart. I did expect it. But the other Legend X, what can we do? I see that you said it's kind of far gone, but what do you predict is next? Because I think the problem with a lot of Democrats is that we're like, okay, somebody else has it, we're just going to leave it alone. But what is next? How do we continue to help prevent more of this happening? Because I live in Maryland, this can happen anywhere. So how can we be more proactive?
It's going to happen, and it's going to happen.
It's coming.
Exactly. So I'm like, how can we become proactive to not
let her answer? Let her answer.
So I think that fundamentally, most people don't understand how politics works. So I think that the way that you change the nation is you have these conversations with your friends and your family, your church members, and your coworkers is what you do, and you explain to them. It's so interesting. I've been able to get people to understand that what happens in Texas could happen to you, not because I didn't say something esoteric like I'm saving democracy, because what the hell does that mean if you struggling to pay your rent or pay your babysitter, right? We don't know what that means, right? But when I say, let me tell you why what happens in Texas can hurt you in the pocketbook. I want to say, let me tell you a story about a state called North Carolina, where they stole 3 votes. The Republicans did. And now they've got a 3 Republican lead in Congress. And now Trump was able to pass that big, horrible bill. And now we're getting kicked off of our health insurance, Medicare and Medicaid. And now they're robbing our Social Security that we paid into our entire lives so that billionaire boys can go and get tax breaks. And now the farmers can't even maintain their farms. So now I'm paying $13 for eggs when I used to pay $6 for eggs. Those kind of things. People don't understand how to connect the dots. And so those of us who pay attention and who are educated, have got to do more than be on Don's show, which, believe me, I love Don's show. But some people don't even have access to the internet to watch Don's show.
Amen.
Right? And so that a lot of that has to do with government, because they want to make sure that you don't have access to information. So I think this is going to be a situation where people need to talk, and you got to make people see why it affects them, And it's not going to be a quick process, but insofar as keeping us wherever it is we are, some people are already back. So
it's over. That part is over.
Control them. I can't control them, but I bet you what? I bet you ain't gonna see my name on that board, so being complicit with my oppressors. I bet you that, and I'm going to continue to speak up and speak out. And maybe somebody who wasn't paying attention to this now will pay attention, and maybe they'll tell their kid, or maybe they'll tell their grandmother, or maybe they'll tell their friend. And that's what we have to do. We have to make things relatable to everyday struggles. If you can't do that, you're not gonna win this. We're not gonna win this. You can't do that.
I want to bring Reecie back. And Reecie,
thank you for that answer.
Thank you. Yes, Reecie, this is a very good question. I don't know what the answer is, right? Don, listen, what mass message can we all create? Social media messages to say, what's the script? Tell us, please. Look, that is actually a legitimate question. How can people get on board? Because a lot of people, social media is a platform that they use, and it is very powerful.
I hate to pivot from the question. This is not going to be one strictly on messaging. I think that when we're talking about short-term things like what Governor Gavin Newsom is trying to do in California and change the voter preferences away from an independent district commission into these maps that they're going to be drawing out, what we have to start telling people, and I'm going to be honest with you, because not that Democratic leaders don't have all the fight, or that they don't have people's best interest in heart, but they're not going to tell voters, buckle up, bitches. Okay, because this is a long-term fight. The way that Republicans were patient for decades, it took them 50 years to overturn Roe v. Wade. They have built this trifecta brick by brick, and their voters have been single issue voters on every single thing. They got single issue, don't take my gun voters. They got single issue abortion voters, single issue immigration voters, single issue trans voters. For Democrats, we got 10 issues we got to tick through just to convince people to get their ass up off the couch and vote. There are millions of people in Texas who are not voting. I would bet money that there are a lot of people who are on this panel even and who listen, who vote for Democrats at the state level, at the Senate level, and at the federal level, or state and federal level, and have Republican representatives in Congress or have Republican senators. Because the reality is a lot of us vote Democrat, but don't have Democratic leaders that are actually representing us. My mom is one of those people. She has a Republican congressman. There are a lot of people who are Democrats. And so part of what it takes is trying to get, I don't think MAGA is redeemable. I'm sorry. I'm not going to tell you to go out there and talk to your MAGA people. But there are non-voters. 89 million people didn't vote in the federal election. Millions of people don't vote between the presidential elections and the midterms. So go to a non-voter and try to get a non-voter to realize what's at stake. Go to your Republican representatives, and there's no shame for you personally as a Democratic voter who has a Republican representative, and hold their asses to the fire the way that we hold or Democrats in other states, other districts, other whatever. We hold their ass to the fire and we say you need to stay and hold up in a hotel room, and then people won't necessarily, I'm talking about, not talking about y'all, but then people won't call up their representative in Congress, the person who has a district office a couple miles away from them. So we have to become the foot soldiers. We have to become the leaders that we're looking for from electeds, because there's only so much they can do. And that's not a popular thing to say. That's not an optimistic thing to say. There are fucking consequences for elections. There are consequences when Republicans hold every level of power, and it is uncomfortable for us, and people are going to suffer, and it was avoidable. And the only way to claw our way out of it is by elections and accountability for Republicans. Republicans have to start losing in Republican districts to know that they can run and they can hide and they can gerrymander and they can draw whatever wiggles they want to do to think that they're insulated, but they have to start losing. I don't have all the answers, but what I do know is that it's not going to come from a Democratic minority without the soldiers of those people who vote and don't vote getting out there and getting on the field.
And what it won't come from also is our candidates who are trying to be all things to all people.
That's also true.
Watered down candidates. And I believe in this moment, because as I have told you guys before, the pendulum is so far to the right that it is, and pendulums, when you're that far, it doesn't swing to the middle. It's going to swing all the way over. Democrats need to lean into the progressive side of their party, because that's what these times are calling for. Progressive ideas work in this moment. It's being a progressive. I'm not. Look. Perhaps I am in my mind. Who knows? I'm not a member of a political party, but I believe that it's time to have ideas that work for all people, right? And so having progressive ideas about healthcare, about education, about other things, about affordability, that doesn't mean that you're a socialist. It just means that you're fair-minded. So look. But Representative, I'm sorry, guys, I have to go. I have to end this. I'm sorry. I know all the legends didn't get to speak. We'll do another show. We'll have you back soon. But Reecie, we didn't even get to talk about the economy. You have an economics degree. We're going to talk about the bad, terrible numbers that the president got today, that he's going to lose his mind over. And we didn't even talk about Epstein. So we'll get a show. We'll have another show and get you guys back on. But I've got to run.
I want everybody to leave with, what are we going to do under this lawlessness?
Yeah.
Because we cannot fight lawlessness with law. Okay.
That's going to have
to be in some reality.
So until I see you guys back here at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning for Hot Topics, I want you to be informed without being inundated. Thank you to all of my legends, and I'll see you.
Yes, bye, Dawn. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support.